it's Ruthie here. I'm going to read to you my cosy little tale, The Candle Tree, by me, R.M. Hamilton. Let us begin. Once upon a time there lived a mouse who was kind and lonely. This mouse loved light. He loved light so much that he decided to plant a very special tree. When the tree was big, it did not grow apples. It did not grow pears. It did not grow apricots. It grew candles. The mouse lived on an island all alone. What good is a present if I can't give it to someone? Asked the mouse to himself. So he picked the most beautiful candle that grew on his tree and built a little boat for it. Then he took it down to the sea and set it adrift. For many nights the candle floated across the ocean. The wind howled and the waves crashed, but the candle sailed on. No matter what happened, the candle did not go out. Eventually the candle washed up on the Isle of Darkness. Along the coast lived a family of mice. They were used to the dark and they'd never seen a candle before. When they found it, they were very happy. It's so beautiful, the mice said to each other. We must take it back to the village and give it a home. This is so exciting, the mice told each other, but Cuthbert was not pleased. Cuthbert was a long, slithery animal that lived with the mice. He said he was a worm, but because of the darkness, no mouse had actually seen what he looked like. Yuck, hissed Cuthbert from the shadows. I wish they'd let it drown. It's Cuthbert, who claims he's a worm. When the mice arrived at the village square with the candle, someone found a pole for it to stand on. Then they gathered around and started singing. Bother, said Cuthbert crossly. I shall have to put a stop to this at once. It will ruin my plan. Bob, called Cuthbert from the shadows. May I have a word, please? Of course you can, Cuthbert, said Bob. That thing is dangerous, said Cuthbert gloomily. I hate to pop your bubble, but it will start off as a pretty little light and end up by burning the village down. Oh no, said Bob, I can't believe it. Well, it's true, hissed Cuthbert crossly. The other mice began to gather round Cuthbert. You should chop that horrible thing down, said Cuthbert cunningly. It's stopping me from casting my gold-making spell. We didn't know you had a gold-making spell, said the mice impressed. Well, I do, but it only works in total darkness, Cuthbert told them. Magic and light don't go together. You say the candle is dangerous and keeping us poor, said the mice. That's true, said Cuthbert. But the voice in our hearts is saying that the candle is worth more than all the gold in the world, said the mice. I suppose the voice in our hearts must be wrong, said Bob. After all, it's not nearly as loud as Cuthbert. Quite right, said Cuthbert. So crying with sadness, Bob took an axe and chopped the candle down. Went out with a crash and a grey little piffle of smoke. Then the mice took the candle to the dump outside the village and buried it in the earth. They were very unhappy, but Cuthbert was not sad. Cuthbert was thrilled. Now nothing could stop his evil plan. The mice stumbled back to the town square. Now make us our gold, Bob commanded Cuthbert in a broken voice. Cuthbert smirked. Fancy falling for that dumb trick, he said. There is no gold-making spell. When the mice saw that Cuthbert had fooled them, they sat in the darkness and cried. They were so sad that even their hearts were dark. They had given up their light for a lie. That's how they felt on the inside. very, very bleak. They sat there for a long time. Then something extraordinary happened. From the direction of the town dump, a light was growing. It grew and it grew and it grew until it filled up the entire sky. "Come on," shouted the mice, and they started running. When they reached the dump, they gasped in wonder. Where they had tossed their candle stood a gleaming candle tree. It shimmered with thousands of candles. "It was a seed," sang the mice. "It was a seed. We buried it, and now we're going to have so much light we can give some away." "Well, well, well," said a nasty voice. The mice turned, and there was Cuthbert trying to stay in the shadows. Of course, this was no longer possible. "You're not a worm," shouted the mice, seeing him clearly for the first time, "and you lied to us about killing the candle. The darkness will not make us rich." "It would have made me rich," said Cuthbert. "I was going to sell you, but now that you can see me, I suppose I shall have to eat you all myself." "No!" shouted the mice, and they tore the candles off the tree and flung them into Cuthbert's greedy mouth. "Ouch!" bellowed Cuthbert as he swallowed. "My insides are burning with fire." "Hooray!" shouted the mice. Said Cuthbert. Every time he said a burst of flame shot out of his mouth. He slithered off as fast as he could for the beach and landed with a splosh in the water. Across the sea, the kind and lonely mouse saw the glow of the second candle tree. "How clever they are," he said. "They have discovered the candle's secret. You must plant it if you want more light." He looked around his friendless island. Then he smiled. "If a candle can travel by boat to a foreign land, I suppose I could too," he said to himself. He built a raft and set out upon his journey. He passed a pink snake swimming very fast and hiccuping fire. But as he was a wise little mouse, he did not offer the snake a lift. When he arrived at the beach, the mice were very happy to meet the one who had sent them the candle. They all became the best of friends. They changed the name of their home from Isle of Darkness to Isle of Light, which was good for tourism. So the mice became rich after all. As for Cuthbert, he was caught by a scientist and is now displayed in a cage at the zoo. He is fed every day on cod liver oil and parsnip pancakes, and I hope that is where he will stay forever. And that is my book, The Candle Tree by R.M. Hamilton. You can get it on Amazon, wherever good books are sold, and also at our family bookstore, zealouspublishing.com. Thank you for listening.